Welcome dear students to another session of learning grammar. Today's class we'll be learning about linkers. This is something new to us. Linkers, the word linkers is new to us, not the examples that are there, not the words that are used as linkers. They are not at all new to us in any way. See, we have been learning about linkers from many years. Probably from class 1, 2, 3 when we have started framing sentences, we have learnt about linkers then only, but we haven't heard, as I told you, this word called the linkers or the devices, cohesive devices. So let us just learn how we have learnt, in the year, in the younger classes like class 2, class 3, when you were made to write down sentences and join them together, the first linker that we have all of us used are and. Okay, that was one linker that was very popularly used. And even today when we start writing answers, we have students who struggle to get the words fluently, and they start writing and everywhere. So their answer has more and than anything else. So even today we have this as a very commonly used linker. We had used this and to join two sentences. Later on, we also learned that one of the linkers that could be used was also, then it went on to then. Gradually, we learned that we could use the word but as linkers too, as a cohesive device, as a conjunction. Later on, when we started writing letters, we started giving reasons. When I leave letter, so as I was not feeling well, so that also is a linker. As is a linker. I am not keeping well, so I could not finish my homework. The word so is also a linker. I've done this, therefore I request you to give me a leave. Therefore, the word therefore also is a linker or a conjunction. We started learning conjunctions in these manner. The first one being most commonly used to slightly more abstract ones, stronger words, some slightly difficult words. We also understood that we have after, later, then I say something like initially. All of them, they come under the category of conjunctions. Conjunctions need not necessarily join sentences. It need not be like only and, but, also, then, therefore, or not necessarily only that. Conjunctions are also words which are used to join sentences to give a better meaning. Okay, they are given and they are used to give better meaning. After these conjunctions, basic conjunctions, we also learnt about several other words, like we have the two link words, like for example, we have so and that. Okay, in a sentence I have to use both of them as linker. For example, the weather is so cold outside, the weather is so cold that we don't feel like going out anywhere. It is so hot. Or let me come to another example. Your handwriting is so bad that we can hardly understand anything. So when I use so here, not this so here it gives reasoning. Okay, it gives a reason, but here it is just used as an adjective. So bad, that it is something like that. And her voice is so sweet that nobody wants to stop listening to her songs. So these can be used as linkers also. We also have something like neither, nor, and either, or. Either and or. Okay. These also could be used as linkers, and they also are like, they are pairs. They have to be used in pairs only. In a sentence, whenever I use the first part, it is mandatory that I use the second part and complete the sentence. We have another beautiful one like not only, but also. Not only but also. No? Like for example, the linkers not only join the sentences but also enhances the language, the beauty of the language. So not only and but also is one of those linkers. In the exercises here, we learn about linkers and what are the functions that they do. Using not only but also is one way of telling how to use linkers. As I was giving you an example, there are many things which not only link, for example, the linkers not only link the words but also enhance the beauty, enhance the richness of the language. So all these can be used as linkers. Remember one thing, linkers, they just do not link the sentences. They give us a comparison, they give us a contrast, they give us a kind of conditioning. They also help us to understand the words better, okay? They comprehend the words better. They also are used to summarize the thoughts. Finally, when I say later, therefore, finally, initially, and lastly, all those, they help us to summarize the thoughts also. So we have linkers and their functions also in your textbook. There are many concepts, many headings under which linkers have been categorized. So if you want to understand about the linkers better, I think on page number 66, you have a list of linkers, 66. You can go through them, just understand how good these linkers are and how to categorize them according to the function they do. So this one was an introduction about linkers. Now I have written an example wherein you will understand how linkers are used to add the sentences, to join the sentences, and also to give a particular reason, give a particular function over there. My mother was an extraordinary person and I should speak above all of her kindness towards me. But I'll tell you a secret of mine, because I feel somewhat guilty for not having been a happy man in order to give her a deserved happiness. Therefore, I feel I should have been more understanding of her. There are 4 linkers that are underlined, and all these 4 linkers underlined here, they have a different function. They perform different activities. The first one, my mother was an extraordinary person. I should speak about her kindness towards me. These 2 sentences are linked together by the linker and the function of this and here, it means that it is adding up the qualities of the mother, of Borges' mother. We know that this part is from Borges, and the Borges interview, it talks about his feelings about his mother also. So there are 2 qualities of the mother added up together. So the linker and it gives us the function of addition. The second one, but I'll tell you a secret of mine. So he stops there and gives a contrast. So therefore, but is used in connection with contrasting nature. Everything is fine, my mother is kind natured, but I'll tell you, I have a secret. I'm going to tell you that secret. Okay, because I feel somewhat guilty for not having been a man in order to give her happiness. I feel somewhat guilty. So he is giving the linker because. This because it talks about reason. He says, I have a secret, I'll tell you, because I feel guilty. He is trying to give us the reason why he is guilty. He is guilty because he has not been a happy man in order to give her a deserved happiness. He has not given a deserved happiness to his mother, and therefore he feels guilty that he is not a happy man at all. So in order to, it talks about the purpose. He is talking about the purpose why he has not kept his mother happy at all. Therefore, I feel I should have been more understanding of her. Finally, he summarizes. He summarizes all his feelings towards his mother and says, I should feel that I should have been more considerate to my mother. I should have been more kind towards my mother. So these are the words that are used as linkers, and this is the function that they are doing here. Okay, linkers, as I told you, not only link the words, they just not link the sentences together, but they also act as words which give, perform lot of functions here. They give us the reason, they give us the purpose, they also summarize everything, they contrast, contradict, and addition. All these works functions are done by linkers. Okay. In the exercises that we'll be following, we will have words that you have to fill in as linkers. So the exercises are more interesting. We'll be working on 2 or 3 of them in the following class, in the following session. So you will understand how to fill in the linker in your examinations. Okay, I have tried to squeeze in 3 examples on this board so that we can quickly finish off with linkers. The examples that are from your question papers. So the questions will be in this manner. There will be a paragraph. I'll tell you again, usually it will be from your lessons only, and there will be 4 linkers that will be given to you, sometimes in a very confused manner, sometimes it will be very neat and plain so that you can easily fill in the linkers. So you'll have to read the sentence and then choose the appropriate linker and fill into it. So there are 2 ways of writing your answer. Let me finish off how you present it, okay? So there are 2 ways of writing your answers. One, if you have sufficient time, you can write down the whole paragraph with the linkers in between, the correct linkers, and underline the linkers. Okay, please do not forget to underline the linkers. If you just write the whole paragraph without highlighting the linker, it will make the evaluator little agitated. Our flow, it gets cut. So we need to finish it off in a hurry, and we need to finish it off as early as possible, because once we start reading the paragraph, the flow of answers, it just reduces. So the teachers usually, evaluators, they usually become agitated when some answers are not properly marked. So don't give room for that. If you have sufficient space, sufficient time, you can write down the whole paragraph and underline the linker. Very leisurely you can do this. People who find that no, I don't have to waste time on all these things, there's only one option for you. You will have to write down the question number correctly and then write the linkers one below the other. Just one below the other. Don't even write the previous word and the after word and all those things. Just write the correct answer one below the other and just leave it. That is it. So either the first one or the second one, whichever option you feel is better, you can go into this. You can go into that kind of answering the question. We'll start with the first example. The young man took refuge in Don Gonzalo's house. He went to Seville, then came to Madrid. He wrote letters to Laura, they were intercepted by her parents. In despair, he joined the army. He met a glorious death in the war. This is few lines, bits here and there taken from the lesson, from the skit, A Sunny Morning. These are the linkers. Now we will try to match this, put this into the sentence. The linkers are but, and, at last, then. It's very essential for us to read the linkers first and try to understand where these linkers fit in the paragraph. The young man took refuge in Don Gonzalo's house. He went to Seville, then came to Madrid. So, can but come here? No. And then came to Madrid. I think that seems to be suitable. So, let us just have and as one option. At last cannot be an option at all, because at last it has to come in the end only. Then came to Madrid is again an exclusion. It cannot be possible at all. So, the first option is and I write it here. And then he came to Madrid. He wrote letters to Laura, they were intercepted. Then no, but yes. It could be but they were intercepted by her parents. Then like again, and that answer came off from me, from my word, from my mouth. In despair. So it has to be then in despair. Then in despair, he joined the army. Lastly, At last, he met a glorious death in the war. Okay, this is the way you will have to fill in the linkers. All this filling in linkers, trying to understand and analyze which linker suits in which blank, all these things you can do in the first 15 minutes of your question paper, examination time duration. The 15 minutes that will be given to you to read the question papers, you feel 15 minutes what to do with that. In that time, you can just analyze and understand. Please do not mark anything in your question paper. You are prohibited from doing that. So at least you can make a note of it in your mind. So you will understand, or probably you can just write down the first letter somewhere in your answer paper. Like for example, this one, we have the acronym for this as A, B and T and AL. So this one, you will just write down somewhere, but please see that it does not go to the notice of the invigilator or your supervisor or the squad who comes. Otherwise, you will be thrown out of the examination hall. This one, you have to keep it in your mind, or at least somewhere, in your mind at least is better. So that one will help you to save time when you are writing the answers. So 15 minutes of your examination, you will have to make use to write all these answers. Moving on to the second question. So once you find, do 2 or 3 examples like this, you will find that the whole exercise is very easy. The kingdom of Monaco was a peaceful and a peace-loving country. Dash, they did not feel the need to keep an army or a police force. Dash, once a murder was committed there. Dash, they were forced to look for ways to try and punish the criminal. Dash, they decided to give him a pension and send him away. So these are the sentences, and the linkers are but, eventually, so and then. Eventually means finally, at last, in the end. Okay. So what I should be doing now? First one, Kingdom of Monaco was a peaceful and peace-loving country. So they did not feel the need to keep an army. So that will be the first answer. So they did not feel the need to keep an army or a police force. Then dash once, but once, not then once. So it is but once there was a murder that was committed, and later on it will be then they were forced to look for ways to try and punish the criminal. Eventually they decided to give him a pension and send him away. Okay, so this one, and I told you, once you do this once or twice, you will get more confidence about solving linkers. The last example here, dash, all this rivalry between Tamanna and Baswaya looked like healthy competition. Dash, it took a new turn. Dash, it rose to such a pitch that there was no land left in the village for them to buy. All land belonged to dash, Tamanna or Baswaya. Look at the linkers, either, to begin with, gradually, however. Okay, if you get off an answer first itself, you can write. The last sentence, for example, all land belonged to dash, Tamanna or Baswaya. So the option here is very clear. It has to be either. So let us fill it off first so that you are left with very less options to fill the other 3. So this is done, either is done. Now, the first one, so the options here are to begin with, gradually, however. You can't put all these 2 in the first, so it has to be to begin with. To begin with, all the competition, all the rivalry between Tamanna and Baswaya look like healthy competition. Then, however, it took a new turn. So that could be a better one. However, it took a new turn, and finally you are left with gradually, and you will fill it to write it as gradually it rose to such a pitch that there was no land left in the village at all. So I told you, you'll have to practice, you'll have to write 1 or 2 of them on your own. It was like, learning or discussing and then writing the answer. If you read the answers on your own, if you write them on your own, try to get it properly. I think linkers will be one of the best ones that you can finish your examination with. So linkers, again, it is for 4 marks. The beauty of it itself is this one. Almost all the questions here, they are either for 3, 4, 5 marks, and they're very simple ones. You can definitely finish it off with great style. So I hope linkers is very well understood by you people. There's nothing much to talk about linkers. Linkers are very simply to be done. So all the best to you. We'll meet in another session of grammar learning.